Hey, this is Matthew.
And this is Andrea.
Welcome to Wrestle Rabble here on Nerd News Today. This is going to be potentially a new segment here on the channel because pretty much all of us involved in this channel are pro wrestling fans.
Yeah.
And we decided, let's give our own go at talking about the latest news, gossip, whatever it is we're going to do with wrestling.
Yeah, we're going to schmooze.
We're going to go beyond the toys. And, this is really a great time to be a wrestling fan right now because there's so much wrestling on TV.
Mm-hmm. It's like every night there's wrestling of some kind.
Practically, yeah. We've got New Japan, we've got WWE, Raw and SmackDown, NXT,
AEW.
And that's what we're really going to be talking about today is, not the Monday Night War, but now it's the Wednesday Night War.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the first 2 months of AEW and NXT's programming.
So NXT debuted technically 2 weeks ahead of AEW. Their debut was kind of a soft launch, which was September 18th on USA. So they did the first hour on USA, and then for the next hour you had to go to the WWE Network.
Yeah, that was kind of lame.
Yeah, but really the proper beginning was October 2nd.
Which was the same day AEW launched.
How convenient. So, Andrea, how familiar were you with the NXT roster and any of the dudes from AEW before these were on TV?
Yeah, see, I have such a weird relationship with both of them. I've never really watched NXT, to be honest. I pick up who people are based on, what I see when I watch Raw and SmackDown or when I'm watching other videos, about what's happening in the world of pro wrestling. So I learned more about them that way, as well as, whoever might be called up from the roster, then not utilized, and then everyone talks about how underutilized they are. I learned about that. And with AEW, I went in knowing, really knowing a few of them better. I mean, I know Cody, I know Dustin, Jericho, hello. But the same Pac, Moxley, so it's like I felt a little bit more comfortable with them, even though I don't know the rest of the roster as well. I come into it fairly blind, though, on both of them, I guess you could say.
Which is actually what I kind of want in this video, too, because for me, I knew pretty well about what's going on in NXT, and I had a good idea of AEW, but I don't know all of the indie dudes that they've since added to their roster.
Yeah.
So what I like about having this discussion with you in particular is because you're coming in more casual, a lot more blind than I am. I'm a little bit more hardcore in that respect. So this will be good, because basically you're the entry,
I'm the
gateway
casual.
person. Yeah.
I admit it, I'm a casual. I enjoy it, I like it, but...
You're more unbiased, too, which is good.
Yeah, in theory, I'm more unbiased, yeah.
So what we're going to do is just kind of talk about what we've seen the last 2 months, essentially, starting from October 2nd to essentially the NXT TakeOver pay-per-view that just happened. We're not going to talk about either the pay-per-views, Full Gear or War Games, but we're just going to talk about the TV. So first things first, let's kind of take a quick glance at the main events. We're not going to run down every single one of them in the last 2 months that we've had, but we're going to just kind of talk about the diversity that they've had, or the not diversity, I guess, as you were looking at. So I got the list of NXT, and within the first 2 months, there was a lot of different types of matches with a lot of different wrestlers. Okay. So we had, a few things in the Undisputed Era, but we also had a women's match. We had the Io Shirai Mia Yim match, which was also a ladder match.
Always fun.
Which is really cool. We've had, again, a lot of Undisputed Era, a lot of Tommaso Ciampa, some Keith Lee, some Matt Riddles. But again, it's kind of mixing things up. We even had Damian Priest and Pete Dunne was a main event. Walter and Kushida was a main event. And Drew McIntyre showed up. That was the go-home show before War Games that just happened. We had a lot of WWE main card guys show up with some really cool matches. But just main events, pretty diverse. You can see who the stars are, but they're choosing different ones.
Lots of fun stuff, lots of diversity. Then you move over to AEW and Dynamite, and we start running into some problems because basically you got Jericho, SCU, Jericho. You got a couple of Moxleys, a couple of Darby Allins. There's a lot of repetitiveness in this, and I understand it's a smaller roster. They're building from the ground up, so they have to start with they have to make sure their storytelling is solid, But I would like it if they diversified a little bit better, because I can only take so much Jericho these days. I'm sorry, I like him, he's cool, but I want more. I want to see other people. I don't need all the Jericho all the time, I want to see the other people wrestle. I want to get to know the other wrestlers. It's a little for me. As exciting and good as some of these matches have been, it's still just give me more.
I will say the one thing that I have liked about AEW is because, as opposed to NXT, where they've been on the network for a long time, so the audience is already built, with AEW, if you're not an indie wrestling fan, most of this is brand new. So they've had to build things up from scratch.
Yeah, of course.
And what I've liked is that a lot of these main events have, Sammy Guevara, you've got Darby Allin, you've got guys
I really like Darby Allin. I didn't expect to like him as much as I did.
Yeah, he turned into Darby Allin Mark.
I'm not. No. We're not there yet. But I'm liking his vibe.
We're getting some SCU, and we're getting kind of more of an introduction to Scorpio Sky through SCU.
Yeah.
So they're really introducing a lot of the lesser-known guys, putting them in big key matches, and that I do like.
I like that too, and I think that's a great way to utilize, your bigger named, wrestlers with your indie guys.
Yeah, I mean, like the fact that Scorpio Sky pinned Jericho, it's a pretty newsworthy thing, and it's really cool that, again, you got this little guy coming over. Same thing with Sammy Guevara. He's coming up out of nowhere, becoming like one of the top guys in Jericho's inner circle.
Yeah, I know. I love it. I love that they're doing that, but at the same time, I want more.
Yeah.
I'd also really love to see some of the women come up a little bit, get a little bit more featured. But granted, we're only in, the second month.
Well, the women have had a lot to do, though, to be fair. They've had at least one match, if not two, usually per show. I think the debut, in fact, they had like the women's title match, they were getting ready for the women's match.
Like that, yeah.
There has been not only a lot of women's matches, but long women's matches.
Yes.
That much I'll say,
that
too.
I've really appreciated.
And that kind of brings to another point, that I felt like a lot of AEW's matches have often been a little too long.
Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, whereas NXT, because it's a WWE production, they know how to go, real quick. Yeah. They know how to make the most out of little bits of time. Whereas we've had like easily some matches like that were, I think it was like women's tag match a few weeks back that was like 3 segments, and it didn't need to be 3 segments.
No, there's definitely been some. They're clearly still working the kinks out because you got some timing issues, got some camera work issues. There's a lot of stuff that you can see they're trying to just work it all out. And it's fine. I'm willing to give a pass on a lot of it just because they're so new. But at the same time, sometimes those matches are a little rough.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate to say because it's good wrestling, but you can even tell, I feel like the audience gets a little fatigued also during some of these. And it's really unfair because the wrestlers in the matches are doing really great. It's just, there's no
it's too much
break.
Yeah. It's like you got to be able to find the space in between and let the matches breathe, let the people breathe. It's just, you got to find some of the negative space, I guess.
And that's why I kind of like having Orange Cassidy show up randomly. Kind of nice to have him just come in and Orange Cassidy it up a little bit. The biggest difference between AEW and NXT is writers.
Yes.
Whereas AEW has no writers, and NXT does. And, so basically everybody kind of has free reign in this case for what they're going to say. But I feel like in terms of taking advantage of that so far, it's really only been like who's cut promos on it. It's been like SCU maybe, a lot of Jericho with some MJF.
So much Jericho.
John Moxley, Pac and Heyman Page, and Cody. A lot of Cody.
Cody. Which makes sense.
Yeah. Not a bad thing. But then over NXT, you got a lot more guys doing more promos. And, because I guess they are being edited by writers, it's a little bit punchier. It's a little bit more to the point quite often.
True, but I don't know.
For good or bad, I don't know.
Yeah, that's just it. I have found that with some of the AEW promos, I've kind of looked at them and been like, oh! I've had that reaction, which I've been missing.
They do feel real because it is real.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I've missed feeling like these characters are like real characters. I missed that feeling. So I think AEW, while it would help for them to get a little bit more to the point and to be a little bit more concise, like it would help for me to be able to sometimes, I think they're winning on this because they don't have the writers up their butts saying, no, you got to say it like this, say this, say this, say this. It's like, dude, these guys know what the heck they're doing. Now, if you want to smooth out some of the really rough edges and help them, help edit some of their stuff, sure, but let the guys talk. They learned how to do this. And for those who aren't as good at it, help them. But don't be WWE. The WWE style right now has been kind of horrible.
It's stale, yeah. But on the other hand, sometimes it does kind of pay off because they know how to kind of move things along quicker. Not like that's an issue with the length of promos. It's just, there's a time and place for, I guess, everything.
Yeah, I will say that NXT is doing better than, say, Raw and SmackDown.
Yes, absolutely.
By leaps and bounds. I'm enjoying the lack of writers right now in AEW a little bit more than NXT.
So what do you think about the production value of the two shows?
Ooh, see, it's unfair. NXT wins because they have all that slick money, the money to make it slicker, to have the better camera stuff, to have the better everything really right now. But I think AEW is, one, they have a lot of money too.
Yes, they do.
And they're trying their best to, utilize it as much as they can. But, they're still having some problems.
So I think I'd actually probably disagree and say that AEW has like the better value.
Okay.
because especially when you take NXT off of the network and put it onto TV, I felt that it looked a little dinky.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, because it always has been a smaller venue. It's at Full Sail University. Yeah. They've started to make it look a little bit bigger, or whatever they've been doing. Maybe they moved it to a different space or something. I don't know. It does look a little bit bigger than it did when it was on the network. But compare it to like the bigger arenas that AEW is getting, and there's a lot more people there. That's for sure. It's a different kind of audience. And to be fair, I've had people talk to me about AEW, and they're like, it kind of reminds you of WCW. Yeah, it kind of does to a degree. I can definitely see that. But I kind of like the feel. It feels more like an actual TV show taping.
I guess. I don't know. I guess it's just the fact that I see some of the flaws a little bit more with AEW because they just don't have that camera work done. They don't have that down yet. So for me, that takes away from some of the production value. Because when I see somebody throwing an elbow like, yes, it's like, really?
Yeah, there's been a lot of camera angles where things get missed or they get too close and you see what actually missed for real in this case.
Yeah,
like they'll miss actual spots versus missing, this kind of a spot. Like, I just hit you in the face, but I really did that all.
Yeah, so that sort of is what takes away from it. I get what you're saying, and yeah, I totally can agree with that part of it, but I just think that NXT, they're doing better overall because they have the ability. They've been doing this for longer. A lot of it comes down to new versus less new.
Yeah.
I don't want to say they're old, but they've been around. They're more established.
The one thing AEW does have in its favor is that so far they've beaten NXT in the ratings for almost every week.
I believe last week was the first time they beat them.
Which kind of
NXT beat them, I mean.
Which brings me to another point I wanted to actually talk about also was pay-per-view hype. So we had Full Gear already passed a few weeks ago, and Survivor Series just happened the day that we're taping this. So the hype between the two things has been very different. I felt like, Full Gear, I actually thought wasn't hyped enough. I feel like they focused way too much on Cody and Jericho and on Moxley. And, Moxley and Omega, that felt like it really got left to the wayside. I feel like most of the promotion for that indirectly happened on AEW Dark, which was their YouTube show.
Yeah. Which
a lot of people probably aren't watching.
Though you should.
Yeah, it's really good. But whereas, Survivor Series, oh my God.
Yeah, that's been kind of amazing how
it's been really good this past few weeks.
Yeah, but then again, they also have two other shows against it, and that plays into this. But I do think that AEW and TNT, they need to up their game in terms of how they're advertising all of this.
The sales have been very weak. Like, really, the best sales pitch I think I saw for Full Gear was when one week Cody did that video package, and then next week Jericho did his own video package parodying it. That was great, but it's still a little soft. And Jericho's been kind of teetering on hardcore evil heel versus kind of funny heel, and that kind of bothers me a little bit actually.
He's basically taking the Freddy Krueger route. I'm not even joking, because Freddy started off as total badass, horrible, oh my God, I'm terrified, I cannot sleep kind of villain, and then by 4 he's hilarious.
Yeah, no, I see what you're doing. It totally makes sense. Yeah,
oh my God, is Jericho going full Krueger?
So does that make Cody a Dream Warrior?
I like this.
Well, his dad's the American Dream. He's the American Nightmare. If Jericho is Freddy Krueger.
This is becoming very strange and a little.
I don't want to do wrestling math. Let's not do this. But
so what does that make Dustin? Tell us down below.
It's totally not really a fair comparison to say the pay-per-view hype in this case, because you've had the entire main roster and you're basically going around 3 different shows doing a loop. But again, it's these are the first 2 crucial months, and this has been the turning point. Was this one right before the pay-per-view, and that's when they finally beat AEW.
Yeah, and I will say this, because since I have to watch AEW and NXT online and everything, in terms of what I see on the internet, NXT hands down won. I did not see nearly enough random ads, random commentary or anything. I didn't see nearly enough about AEW.
Yeah.
Which makes me sad, because I see all this hype about it, but then you have their pay-per-views and no one's talking about it. What's up with that?
Yeah.
And definitely you were right about Moxley versus Omega. That got nothing until after the event, and then everyone was talking about it.
Yeah. But we're not really going to talk about the pay-per-views.
That's a different story.
Yeah, it totally is. We're talking about the TV today.
Yeah.
I thought was kind of a little bit petty and kind of funny was how, the commentators in AEW are JR, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur.
Yeah.
They basically got the old WCW crew. But then WWE, when they, relaunched Raw after the draft and all that nonsense, they brought in Jerry Lawler. Yeah. And I got to say, the first 2 weeks he was there were really bad. He did not fit in, dated references. He got better, partly because, again, WWE has writers, and they're letting these people know what to do and tell them what to say quite a lot. And there was no chemistry either in the first few weeks.
There still really isn't, but part of it is because one of the guys they're keeping out for now to sell.
Which is funny because, Dio or Dion, I always forget how to say it.
I think it's Dio.
Yeah. I didn't like him at first. And he's actually started to grow on me.
I like Dio better than the other guy whose name I can't remember.
I think it's Vic Joseph. He's very forgettable. It's a forgettable commentary team. But Dio started to grow on me.
I still want to know what happened to, what's-his-face? To Byron. Where did he go? He just, disappeared. It's like, what the hell, dudes?
It was a bizarre mix-up. I really think the commentary team is really, really weak. I've enjoyed Samoa Joe coming back, but we're not talking about that.
He's been awesome. Hey, we're rabbling here, so we can say Samoa Joe's been awesome.
Yeah, but really the reason I just want to bring it up is because they brought in JR. Really, though, if you do want to talk commentary, again, it's JR, Tony Schiavone, and Excalibur versus Mauro Ranallo.
Oof, yeah.
Beth Phoenix, and Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah, that's an interesting mix. It's a good mix.
It's a really good mix. And, so I don't even know who really is stronger. I think the edge actually goes to NXT this case.
They have Mauro, so yeah.
They have Mauro. Beth has gotten way better. I didn't like Beth at first.
But no, she's improved.
She's improved really a lot.
Leaps and bounds. But,
and Nigel's amazing.
Yeah.
Nigel's just amazing.
I'm just a huge Mauro fan, so automatically where Mauro goes, I'm going to give him some love.
I got to say, though, JR... when he was doing New Japan, it always felt like he was trying to play catch-up. He didn't really know who a lot of people were, didn't know necessarily all the storylines. But here in AEW, it seems like a totally different JR. Yeah. Very motivated, very on the ball. He's really the expert that we need. And him and Tony, again, together is a great, fun mix.
Yeah.
They're kind of hazing Excalibur a little bit. But, he's going to catch up.
Yeah, and I gotta admit, I'm kind of loving the giant FU to the WWE that's happening here. Because it really does feel that way, and that just kind of makes me love AEW a little bit more. Eventually, they're going to peter out, and it's hopefully, and they're just going to get back to just doing what they do. But right now, I'm kind of loving I'm kind of loving it just because it's hilarious. And that might be part of why, you're getting renewed JR, you know? Because, he knows this is his world. He knows these people. He knows... or at least some of them. He knows these guys.
It's also a much more relaxed schedule.
Yeah. Relaxed schedule, less, bureaucracy, less nonsense.
He's got freedom to do what he does best, which is what he needs to have.
Yeah. And that's really what I think is part of what's so great about AEW. I feel like there's more freedom there.
Yeah.
Where NXT's, NXT's the good show. I just want to go out and say that. NXT compared to Raw and SmackDown right now, NXT's killing it.
You're not going to see anybody argue that point.
Yeah. No, NXT's killing it. They have it's like they gave them all the better writers, gave them the better everything, and they're letting them be the wrestlers that they're supposed to be. Compared to the others where they're,
So overall, I've been enjoying both. But the one thing and the one advantage I think that NXT has, and it's probably through their WWE connections, is that they get to go over 8 minutes.
Yes.
Every Wednesday, NXT always goes over 10 p.m. They go, and it's guaranteed. They're slotted for 10 to 10:08 essentially. They will always go over, whereas AEW has to end on the spot, and they've cut it very close quite often. Very, very close.
No, I'll give you that. I mean, on the one hand, I like the idea of keeping the show tighter. I don't necessarily want to deal with them going over, because it's annoying, and it ruins the flow of if you're watching other shows, It does, but I'll say what the way I watch the show is, when I do my first initial watching, I'm watching them simultaneously, and that I'm going back and forth and seeing who wins me over to watch it. Yeah, so you get to watch the last few minutes uninterrupted. And once I knew they started to do that, I would go back more to see, what's going to happen? What's going to be that match that I see at that time? And so that's been luring me over a little bit more. Okay, and for me, it's not as big of a draw. I'm not saying I'm necessarily watching other programs afterwards. I'm not. I don't like feeling like I have to watch. There's just something about it where it's like, oh, crap, they're definitely going to be going over, so I have to watch. And it annoys me. Every now and then, I'm totally fine with it. But consistently, it just... Yeah. By that time, I'm usually like, I need a bathroom break. I want to go do something. I'm hungry. Whatever. I'm just grumpy by the end of it, and it's not their fault. It's just it's the end of the day. So I'm like, I just want to get ready for bed. So I think just kind of wrap things up. I will say that
I think we're kind of about to hit a bit of a slow time for both companies.
Yeah.
Especially after Survivor Series, because, with all this NXT versus Raw versus SmackDown stuff, it's been really exciting to watch. Yeah. But with absolutely no stakes whatsoever at Survivor Series for, the winner of the brand supremacy, this is all going to fizzle out to nothing this coming week on Wednesday.
I mean, it'd be great if they proved us wrong.
Oh, yeah, I'd love it somehow if this carried over.
Throwing down a challenge. Come on, WWE, do better.
Do something to make this really continue to be exciting. I don't know what that could be, but gotta do something. Whereas AEW, they're gearing up for another pay-per-view soon. But so far, nothing has been that interesting, and that's why I spent a lot more time this week fixated on NXT and not AEW.
Yeah, no, I'll give you that 100%. I mean, what's been happening on NXT has been really exciting.
Yeah.
But, AEW is, I think, trying to just be consistently good.
Yes.
And they're not trying to be, we're going to, throw all of our stuff right now, right here. We're going to blow our load early. They're trying to, they're trying to take their time.
It's a slow build. They're still introducing all their characters, all their roster. I do like that they are big on having their record of wins versus losses, because that's a great way. If you have no idea who anybody is, you at least know who wins, who lost, and, that means this guy's better because he won more. So that's really great for, casuals who are just walking into this thing.
Yeah, that's been fun.
But we're going to see, because now as we head into the winter especially, which is going to be the start of WrestleMania season for WWE, which NXT will be affected by also. It's going to be a bit of a downward, I think, turn for both the next 2 months most likely, and then we'll see where it picks up.
I think I'll agree with you there. I think if AEW stays the course, though, and continues their slow build, I think it's not going to be as painful as it might be with NXT. Because, it's been so exciting. It's been so interesting. It's been so I want to watch this. And then if it slows down, you're going to be oh, okay. Whereas AEW, it's okay, at least I know I'm in for something good. There's going to be something there no matter what.
I'm excited to see where things go, how they continue moving on with everything. Yeah. Good times ahead for wrestling, because it really is a great time to be a wrestling fan. I'm loving this right now. There's so much wrestling all the time. I thought I'd be dying for Overkill, but no, not yet.
I'm a little bit, because since I'm a little bit more casual, I'm a little
We'll change that.
No, we won't.
No, we probably won't.
You got me back in, be happy. You got me back. Let me enjoy it how I enjoy it.
We'll start here. We'll get her. So on that note, this was our test edition, if you will, of Wrestle Rabble. We'd like to do more of these if you guys want to see more of it. So
please comment.
Yeah.
Let us know what your thoughts are. Let us know if there are any topics you want us to cover, anything you think that's interesting, anything you want us to work on. Just give us your thoughts.
And more importantly, go ahead and argue with us. Whether you think one's better than the other, go fight amongst yourself in the comments. We'll chime in too.
Yeah, we're totally down for discussion and arguing.
It's the Wednesday Night War. We want to hear who you think is winning in the first 2 months, excluding the pay-per-view. Who's winning on TV?
Yeah, but keep it civil, people.
Yeah.
YouTube's given us enough problems as it is.
Don't need any more.
Yeah, please.
So I'm Matthew.
I'm Andrea.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time for another episode of Wrestle Rabble and everything else we do here on Nerd News Today.